Yeah, listen, 10 O's out of a car that, I mean, does everything. What transit's in it? It's a 400, right?
Yeah, turbo 400.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those damn turbo 400s.
Yeah. I mean, it just
soon.
Too soon for Mike. He's been hands deep in one of them.
Fucking thing.
Oh man.
Yeah. You want to talk about parts that broke? Do we want to go through that?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Do we want to bring up that emotional damage right now, or we want to wait?
Off the Band-Aid. Let's do it.
I'm in.
Yeah. So,
I broke a spark plug wire.
Oh, I had spares. You should have came over.
That's funny.
I think I brought all my tools to make
we
spark
found
plug
it
wires.
at the hotel.
Yeah, I had 2 sets of ceramic plugs, wires actually, if anybody needed them.
Nice, you were ready.
And 200 gallons of E85.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
He needed like one of those caution signs on the truck he was carrying. So
it
much
technically
fuel.
was a hazmat.
Yeah. Do not run into this.
Yeah.
You heard about what happened with Pintos, right? This is going to be way bigger.
Yeah. Way cooler. Matt, you want to start us off with the broken parts list?
Oh God, yeah. So it's like day one when we went slow as hell was the first time that truck had ever been run, and we didn't realize the brakes were dragging at that point. So the number one thing that broke on us was the master cylinder was being just the absolute worst son of a bitch ever. Locking up the brakes constantly, especially since we couldn't quite figure out if that was the problem at first, because I thought it was the rear brake calipers, because they had parking brakes built into them. I thought maybe they weren't adjusted correctly or something like that. But yeah, it was that. And then at Gainesville, when we got to the track and noticed the C group was already running, we were like in a panic trying to get the drag pack put on the truck, and I found the back left wheel bearing was completely wiped out. The wheel would rock back and forth, and our F100 has the rear suspension of a 2017 Mustang, so it's IRS. I thought there was absolutely no way I was going to find a 2017 Mustang IRS rear bearing in the 36 millimeter socket it requires to put it on. So I was ready to throw in the towel. We were trying to figure out how we were going to get our truck here from Bradenton. We went up to the tower, and they literally wouldn't let us leave. They wouldn't let us quit. They were like, we went up to the tower, and Chad Reynolds was like on the phone with us with O'Reilly's, calling all the O'Reilly's in the areas, and we found one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we went back and
socket to that at O'Reilly's is aisle 3 on the right hand side, 3/4 of the way down.
There it is.
Yeah, well, actually, so we had the wheel bearing at O'Reilly's. We were going to go get that. The Boosted boys were right next to us, and we asked them, and they're like, "Yeah, we've got that socket." So they lent us the socket we needed.
Cool.
So we bombed back into Gainesville to get that bearing. Got back. I've changed that wheel bearing faster than I had ever changed a wheel bearing in my entire life.
Yeah.
Then like after that, it was still just the brakes plagued us. And then for some reason on Thursday, our stoplights stopped working. I still to this day have no idea why. I'm gonna have to just rewire them.
Yeah.
But we used
because it took a beating, bro. Like 800 miles. Like what are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure it burned the sensor out. The pressure switch. I'm pretty sure it burned the pressure switch out. But so the driving lights would turn on when you turned on the headlights. So that was our stoplights. Every time we would come to a stop, we would turn the headlights on, and then we just click them off when we went to drive away. So yeah, we just had endless brake problems. With a brand new engine and transmission, I 100% thought that I was going to have some problem with the trans brake. I was going to burn up a wire. I was going to smoke a spark plug, something. Nothing. Perfectly fine. Engine transmission ran perfectly fine the entire time. Trans brake launches, no problems.
What how do you guys have the exhaust routed on it? Are you a log manifold on the passenger side?
It's got the hooker headers that it goes underneath the bell housing and goes into the other one. And then it snakes back up into the turbo. It goes out of the turbo into the front right fender well and up underneath the cab. Yeah. And then out behind the back passenger door. So it snakes itself around underneath there.
Yeah, we did a log on my C10 truck. It just came to me while I was thinking about it. Because I remember the placement of the turbo. I was just wondering, because a lot of times if you go forward facing, you're running over a lot of brake line heat area there. But I was just trying to figure it out, man.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing.
Oh man, we went through every ounce of that freaking brake system on that truck.
Yeah, that's
and it's
crazy.
currently all blown apart. None of it is on the truck anymore right now.
It's in a fire pit.
It's on the lift. Every piece of the brake system is on the floor underneath it. We took everything off.
That's crazy.
Perfect time to get some TBMs.
Yeah, it's exactly
Actually,
right.
TBMs are coming for the front. We just got Willwoods for the back.
Nice.
There you
go.
They don't make them. I called them the other day. They don't make them for the Silverados yet. So if you guys are listening, I got a test truck.
Oh yeah.
I'm running stock Silverado brakes on mine right now, and it's like
they were pretty cool guys. We talked to them at the Freedom Factory Sunday night, and because we're trying to do a little development on the CTSV side of things, and evidently they are in process. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, definitely as soon as they come out with something, we'll have them on the Cadillac.
That's cool. Tab here says my man Red Hat Scotty helped us set up for a personal best.
There you go. Crew chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That's awesome. You want to tell that story real quick, and then we'll get into Mike's nightmare.
Yeah, so we met Tab and Brett. I don't remember what day it was. It was before Sick Week. They had this 80s C10 GMC, Mix Max LS truck, and we ended up putting the nitrous on it, and we tuned it up, and it went 12 in this thing. It was pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, we did. I interviewed that guy at Don Garlett's. It's one of the shorts on the channel.
Cool. Yeah.
All right,
awesome.
Mike.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they seem super nice. Mike, you want to lead us through your brain damage of a week?
Yeah. So we ended up getting there Friday. So we unloaded the truck, and we ended up driving around Friday all day. We probably 200 miles on it before the event. Saturday night, we were coming to the hotel just to hang out. And we were trying to race like a 350Z. Like it was an exhaust-only 350Z. I click in the second gear, and it just goes off the limiter. I looked at my buddy. I was like, we just built the truck. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So we pull in, and we're trying to diagnose it and checking everything underneath it. And it ended up rolling the second gear sprag, which not good. So I'm like, hey, no, we'll go first to third the whole week. Why not? We'll just fuck it, whatever. So everybody's like, nah, you can fix it. So luckily, Derek up in the tower, God bless that man. They found a guy, Steve at CRT Transmission, who is in Bradenton, and Sunday they called him. The lady from the track called him. He dropped me off a brand new second gear drum, drilled for the trans brake with the new sprag, all new clutches, and Nick from Hustle and Horsepower with the Dirty 30.
Yeah,
he let me use his trailer, so we can only get the truck 3 feet in the air in his trailer because I guess it's a little heavier. So I'm underneath it, just on my knees, just like, sucks ass. Gotta hope we get it out. So we pull it finally out, and we get out, and then the portable lift guy shows up like an hour later, and I'm like, where the hell have you been? And I couldn't use you that time. And,
he was working on his own truck.
Yeah. He was like, I was washing the lift. I was like, whatever. So we pulled the truck out, and Nick helped me get it apart, and we just dropped the whole brand new drum in, put it all back together, and the sprag was definitely broke because it spun both ways. So I think by 7 o'clock at night, we had the trans back in and the truck running and moving. I looked at my buddy, and I'm like, we're going to the Freedom Factory just to hang out. Yeah. The truck is disgusting. It's got handprints all over it. So we fixed that, make a pass. It went like a 10-3 at like 121 letting out.
I like that you just put it all back together and you just hit it with it. It wasn't like street miles, but nope. Fuck it.
Yeah. I was
hit
like,
it on the two-step.
I was so bad. I was like, fuck this thing. We're going to stand on the track. So we fixed that. So we're actually leaving the first checkpoint. And my buddy's like, I don't know if I got the picture for the checkpoint. So we're 30 miles away. So we start arguing and we pull over. And I'm like, God damn it. And I get out and I hear like this, like, it sounded like a fast rod knock from the bottom of the motor. And I'm like, well, we're done for the week already. So we're all pissed off. So he's like, I got the pictures. So we keep going. The next day, I actually left him at the hotel because he wouldn't get up, which I feel bad. He actually got a ride from the guys in the maroon Volvo.
Nice.
So I'm driving. I got fuel. I'm driving to Orlando. I'm like, I'm just going to get the picture. We're going to go. And I go to downshift, and it bends the shifter cable. So it's stuck in third gear. And I'm like, Lord help me. So I get there, lift it up, and I'm checking stuff. And luckily, Summit Racing had a cable. I had to drill out the little eyelet on the top part, put that in, and I found all the bell housing bolts came loose.
Oh,
So I was
damn,
like, oh
dude.
my God. So I tightened them all up because the one side, when I got the motor, didn't have a dowel in it. So I guess it just kind of rattled loose. And whatever I did to tighten it, it stopped that noise. I'm like, oh, it's not making a noise anymore.
Dude, your converter's down there going,
Luckily, everything, and I fixed that, and we ended up losing an O-ring on the little fitting for the trans, which I had a brand new fitting because I brought that with me. But yeah, the next day we went to Gainesville, and I'm like, I'm fucking sending this thing. I hope it blows up. I don't care. And I left off the trans brake and went like a 983, and I'm like, it's fine. And I mean, it was fine after that. That was the only real problem we had the rest of the week. It's like, holy shit. So I got the full brunt of like the drag week style events the first 2 days.
Yeah, you got to live it for sure. But after that, I mean, things went pretty well, right? Like it was.
Yeah.
The
truck was consistent. I mean, like I said, the last day we were like, fuck it, we're turning it up because I could only go 10 O's. So
yeah.
And once we got our pass to hand it in,
certification or by your
cage.
Yeah.
So the last day I was like, I turned it in, we finished. Let's turn it up and let's go.
Yeah.
And then it ran its best pass it ever.
What was your average for the week?
1040 because the 1090 screwed me.
Yeah.
But then the last day I went a 10-1 at 107.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Real hard on the brakes.
Yeah. You're on the pass and you're like, oh man, I can't turn in anything faster than a 10.
Yep, I'm glad I did because that was
my 8th mile was faster than your quarter mile running a second slower. So.
I think our best 8th was a 616 at 113.
There you go.
And my best ever with that truck with a built 408 was a 613 at 116.
Wow.
So we're right there. So I said we're going to turn it up next week.
GM knows how to build these things. You just got to open the gap up a little bit and you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that thing's got half used lifters, half LS7 lifters. One of the head gaskets are copper sprayed. I mean, it's a little mismatched, but it works.
Dude, it's amazing.
Sounds like I built it.
Yeah, you can just beat on them and nobody cares. Robbie, you guys have any struggles through the week?
You know, for taking 2 cars and literally like finishing them when we got to Bradenton and literally having 0 miles on them, knock on wood, we had no issues. And I can't believe it. Like, I mean, just like short of just, you know, kind of just the normal trying to make them a little bit faster throughout the week. But I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think, and it's like, I think
you had a great week then.
Oh yeah, I mean, like literally, like my sunburn was like the worst thing that happened.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean the cars were flawless, and I mean when we started out, you know, putting them back together, you know, taking our time, just making sure everything was right, and then like the last like 2 weeks was like all hands on deck. But I mean, knock on wood, we really didn't have any issues at all. But I think the worst thing that happened was in the tech line for Sunday, I was like tuning all the drivability. And on the 2-step, like I had like the positive and negative like switched in the programming. So like when the 2-step wasn't on, it was on. And
it was on. Oh,
no.
So I go up there to do my first burnout and like, you know, it goes up to 4,000 and just stays there. And I'm like, okay, that's the 2-step. So I just back out. Run back to the trailer real quick, plug in the laptop, change it, go back up there, and everything was great. But like,
that's cool.
Literally, other than that, we had no issues. Now, granted, we weren't running, 7 seconds, but But I mean,
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like, dude, you still put 800 miles on the car, on 2 cars, like
1,600 miles on.
I can't imagine campaigning 2. That would be insane because you do all the. Like you're the main brain behind a lot of that stuff, right? Like on those cars.
Yeah. So like on the Cadillac, poor Chuck, man, I done burnt his credit card up the last 2 months. I mean, man, I'm like, I feel bad. And
I think like, Chuck had a pretty good time.
Oh, he had a blast. Like he did drag week with us in 2019, and he was like, and of course he's pumped up, like seeing them, like he getting them tickets and stuff. Of course he can't have C, so he's got to come back, and we got to like read the ticket to him. But, but man, he had a blast, and I think cool. all the money spent and all the late nights, because I mean he was in the shop right there with us, like
that's cool.
Trying to get the cars together, and I mean it was a lot of work, but man, it all came together at the end, and we had a super chill week. So I'm sure the next one, like, it'll totally bite us, and we'll,
you'll get payback for sure.
100%. Yeah. So, but no, it went real smooth. I'm very happy, very lucky. So we will take it and move on to the next one.
That's right. Scotty, you said all you had was a burnt plug wire.
Yeah. That was the only thing that happened.
Let's turn this air compressor off here.
Are you working on stuff?
There we go.
Thanks, Norm.
Flip the breaker here.
Oh, man.
I'm usually pretty good about that. But
after we left you and Justin, when we ran out of gas, I thought I whacked another injector like I did at Streetcar Takeover. And we were driving, and it was doing a bunch of weird stuff with the air fuel. I was watching the gauge just like fall dead fat, and we just kept cruising. If we were at speed, it was fine. But anything, out of throttle was doing a bunch of weird stuff. So I ended up talking to another buddy of mine, and he's like, check over the plugs and the wires. So pulled it all down. We found a burnt plug wire. And then as soon as I pulled it off the spark plug, it broke. Ooh. Didn't have any width. Mike, I wish I would have found you. But the dude ended up taking it apart, redid the connector, cut the wire back, got it back on, and we were fine. And then I made that 10-0 pass at Gainesville the next day. So
how bad did that make you want to go?
I ran out of gas once and I burned up a spark.
That's crazy.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody's heard our story, but I'm gonna tell it again because it's fun. We were driving in the rain. Model A has no hood. So we're driving along. We leave the checkpoint. Derek flips the trailer. We're like, let's get the hell out of here. We're driving. We turn left at Flagler Beach and like start getting this bub up. And so we're like, oh crap. So we pull over. When you're sitting still in park, it was fine. It rev like crazy. You could put a little pressure on it. It'd be fine. So we take back off, end up braking. We're like, okay, it's not going to run faster than 30 miles an hour. Let's pull into this, some park somewhere with all these palm trees. And so we change all the spark plugs. We drive out 4 or 5 miles. It does fine. Then it starts breaking up real bad. Pull into a Publix. We're like, okay, well, we're on the phone with Jason and Hot Rod Dave. And they're like, well, it's maybe water got under the distributor cap. So we're like, okay, so we'll pop the distributor cap off, put a new one on that Justin had in the trailer, and throw it on. And it same problem, just keeps happening. So finally, after like 2.5 hours, Justin's wife runs me to O'Reilly's or Advanced, and I buy an entire distributor so we can have the module and pickup and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, if you guys looked close, that car has literally, it's not easy to get to the distributor, It's jammed way back in there. So we come back, we put the module in, we put the new rotor cap in, and put our new rotor and put a new cap on, and it goes. Oh, yeah, Justin here. It was good timing. So we get it back on. Well, Justin pulls up to leave to try it one last time. We forget the return spring. Car just like lights the tires off. It freaks him out. I thought he was going to run over the curb. It's hilarious. It's in the video I'm editing right now. Oh, it's great. It's a good time. So, that's always a reminder. If you have carb stuff, definitely do that. A lot of the, throttle bodied LS stuff has a return spring built in. But so anyway, it does fine after we do the cap for
What's
probably. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like them. I'll tell you that much. This one ran great though. Yeah. It's like a toilet bowl on top of an engine. Lets a certain amount of gas leak down in. And there's 2 of them, and they're way too big for the car. So we're driving. We get probably 20 miles. It's already dark. It's like 8:30. We're driving along. Literally, there's no street lights or anything. 2-lane road, and the car breaks up. And we're like, oh shit. And so you go from 60 to 50 to 40, and he's like, get on maps and see if you can find us a spot to pull off. Well, luckily, we see this dude. We see a street light on a side road. So we pull under the street light because at this point, he's like, we're going to have to change the distributor. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. This is going to suck. So we pull off. And the biggest dog I've ever seen in my entire life comes running from this house that we pull up beside with the street light. and is barking. It's like an Irish wolfhound that's got to be 150, 180 pounds. It's huge. And so this guy comes out, and Justin notices that there's it ended up being a comet, but we couldn't tell really what it was, just like hugger orange or copper orange off in the corner. So we're like, okay, these guys have to be kind of cool. He's got a 3-bay garage, like a 40 by 40, it looks like. So it's got lights outside. So the guy comes walking up. I'm like, hey, man, I jump out of the car. Hey, can we use the light from the front of that shop to put the distributor in this car? And he's like, oh, yeah, come on in. And so guy ends up opening the shop up and, helping us and giving us tools and helping us diagnose it. Ended up being a damn fuel filter that was on the carb that Justin didn't change because, it ran, the car ran great for the week leading up. But you couldn't even blow through the filter. Like it was so clogged.
Wow.
So it was pretty wild. So after that, we took him out and just drove, and it was fine. So I'm sure the carbs are all gummed up now, but it was good to go after that.